What's going on, everybody? It's Matt from Night and Day Performance, back again with another video. Here you see we're working on a beautiful Dodge Challenger Hellcat. This Hellcat came to us after it left the dealership not too far from our shop, about 5 minutes down the road, and unfortunately the dealership caused more damage than good. The customer came into the dealership for a power steering pump that was leaking. They replaced the power steering pump. However, when the tech put the serpentine belt back on for the accessory drive, they did not line it up correctly, which caused the belt to somehow wedge itself behind the tensioner and break the tensioner pulley, which snapped the belt. Seems like something simple, not a big deal. He called because he broke down literally 5 minutes from the dealership as soon as he picked it up. Had it towed back to the dealership, and they said, okay, not a problem, it's on us, we'll get it fixed, no big deal. They go to put a serpentine belt on and tell him that his tensioner's broke, and tell him that his aftermarket crank pulley, which mind you, this vehicle has no tune on it, so it has the Rip-A-Tuned dampener sleeve over it, which kind of gives it a couple more pounds of boost without having to tune it. It's a safe, quick upgrade for the vehicle. That way you don't have to worry about the tuning and the factory ECU, and everything's still 100% factory as far as your warranty work. So they said, okay, not a problem, we'll put a new belt on, but there are a few parts we're going to need to swap back to stock. So he said, okay, no worries. He didn't question it at first, and then lo and behold, as they started working, he thought about it. He said, wait a minute, something's aftermarket, I just bought the car, what are they reverting to stock? He calls them and says, hey, I don't want my stuff stock, I want it just as it is, I just want my belts replaced that are broke, and the tensioner that broke, I'll pay for it, not a big deal. Of course, Dodge didn't hear this the same way, but they called him back and said, yeah, we took your crank pulley off, we took your tensioner off, we took both belts off, we took your intake off, several other parts off, and right now we're getting ready to install all factory stuff, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. And they wanted to flash his computer and all kind of stuff again. So then whenever he did that, they said something's wrong, something's not right. So he said, leave my car, just put it back how it was whenever I dropped it off to you. I'll pick it up and I'll take it somewhere else, because they're saying that they can't put aftermarket parts on, which is understandable. He goes to pick up the car and literally sits at the dealership for 3 hours as they're trying to find the car. They lost this man's car. So after they found the car, they finally come to realize that the technicians never put it back to how he had it whenever he pulled it in, actually. They just threw all of his parts in the trunk of his car. Left it as is, not running, battery dead, everything disconnected, and said, here's your car, have a good time. Now, mind you, this was an issue caused by them. They put the belt on wrong, they broke the tensioner, they broke the belt, it's their fault. But instead of even putting it back somewhat together, they just threw everything in the trunk and gave him his car. Well, don't worry. He pulled into us and we took care of him. We ordered a brand new serpentine belt. We ordered a new supercharger drive belt just to make sure that everything was fresh on it. Filled it up with coolant because all of his coolant bled out whenever his water pump stopped spinning when the belt broke. Cleaned up his entire engine bay, cleaned up all the residue because they swapped the power steering pump and left power steering fluid all over his vehicle. This dealership is known for this. I talked to them, and even the parts department, other people said, hey, this has happened before, people have complained before, we're working on it. Just be careful. If you're working on your vehicle and you have an aftermarket vehicle, please bring it to a shop that knows what they're doing when it comes to aftermarket. Don't take it to the dealership if you have anything aftermarket on your vehicle. But the rest of the video you'll see, at the end you'll see the before and after. Like always, it's Matt from Night and Day Performance. I appreciate you guys for tuning into the video. Like, subscribe, and share at the bottom. And like I said, I'll talk to you guys on the next one.